What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the FPL Knee-Jerk stream. I wonder what I was going to say then. I was going to say the game week, then I was going to say FPL Knee-Jerk. Either way, it's the stream on Sunday. The game week is finished. Game week 4 is done. We're moving into game week 5. We do have an international break, of course, so this will be the last stream until a week Thursday. But we'll have other FPL videos throughout the international break. So game week 4 was a bit rubbish, wasn't it? Again, for a lot of us. Not for those of us with Aguero. Not for those of us with Aguero captain. Maybe the likes of Vardy, Wilson. All looking good. For me, it was just 57 points. Not too happy with that. But it's not too bad either. Rank dropped a lot. Rank dropped like over 50k. Back outside the top 100k. But I think next week we're looking good. So yeah, let's just start jumping into looking at what happened in game week 4. What my thoughts are going forward, all the questions you've got. If you want to vote on the polls, click on the top right hand corner. There is 5 of them in total. Is Pukki essential? Are you wildcard in game week 5? Is Robertson to Trent Alexander-Arnold worth a transfer? Not a wildcard, a free transfer. Is Triple Man City attack viable? Obviously, Aguero did really well. We all want Sterling, De Bruyne as well. And do you enjoy the international break? Some people like it, some people hate it. Obviously, there's no football, no Premier League football at least for 2 weeks. So let me know on the polls. Like the stream, subscribe if you're new. Otherwise, just to say, this stream is sponsored by fantasyfootballscout.co.uk. Highly recommend checking it out if you haven't already. Link is in the description below. I know the video is a bit quiet. I will try and sort that out over the international break. But I'm going to play that and then we'll get into answering all the questions as normal. So thanks very much for fantasyfootballscout.co.uk for sponsoring the stream. Like I said, use their member stuff for like 10 years at this point. So if you want to check it out and you haven't already, links in the description below. This is how my team was looking. 57 points. Finally, the full back line came in. Big at the back, 4 at the back, whatever you want to call it. It came in. Unfortunately, did not have Trent Alexander-Arnold. Did not know who's going to get an assist from way outside the box straight into the goal. And I am a bit bitter about Trent Alexander-Arnold because I spent most of pre-season knowing that if he played the same minutes, he would probably do better. And he has played every game and he has done better. So I don't know if he's 3 attacking returns versus none for Robertson better, but he is the better attacking option. I think if I wildcarded, I would definitely make the switch, but going to have to stick with Robertson for 1 more week and just hope that he can get something, because it's been a bit frustrating at this point, up to this point. Am I from Ireland? I am not, but I do live here. The Trent to Robertson free transfer is very situational. Of course, but it's a polls on YouTube. There's only so much words you can put in them. What's up, Fozzie? Still in the top 20k, very nice. Seen some really good wildcards, well, a few good wildcards out there. So not everyone did as awful as me. I say awful, like 57 is fine. I mean, when you get a captain fail, it's probably not looking good. I knew that Barnes probably wouldn't get anything. Pukki, I don't know. If I was wildcarding this week, there is a little part of me that would be tempted to go without Pukki. Because when I was thinking of bringing him in, I did kind of look at the next 3 fixtures that he's got. Man City at home, I'm going to consider benching him this week. Then Burnley away, Crystal Palace away. They're not exactly, the worst defences to play against, or the best defences to play against. But it's too risky to bench him. Probably it's too risky, I guess, to go without him. But if you want to take a bit of a punt on your wild card, next 3 fixtures, are going to be a huge amount of goals from Pukki. Maybe not, but he's nearly 40% owned, so it's a huge risk to to go without him. So it is only one blank. I mean, at the end of the day, he's not going to keep scoring like he was. I don't think anyone is. I don't think anyone thinks he was anyway. He doesn't need to for that price, of course. But that is the difference, is the price this year. So last year when Jimenez was doing really well, he was only 5.5 million. So you could let a few blanks go. Whereas in this price range, kind of 6.5 to 7, there's a lot of options. So you're not necessarily priced straight out of him if you go for someone else, then you want to get him back in. But again, if I was wildcarding this week, I probably would go with him. I think Haller you'd want as well. Probably Barnes. I'd look at a 3-4-3, I think. Maybe Abraham. I'm not going to... So this is my team for last week. For the game week just gone. Greenwood didn't start. I didn't need my bench in the end. Obviously, I got the captaincy wrong again. I think a lot of people have done that. The Salah-Sterling split, you got the wrong one every week. So it's a bit frustrating for Man City to win 4-0 and Sterling to get no attacking returns whatsoever. But if you look at this is why I can't wildcard. All right, this is the team for next week. Let me bring it up. So this is what I'm looking at. I just can't wildcard this team. I think absolutely potential for another double clean sheet from Liverpool. Lucas Dean, going to keep him obviously. And Zinchenko, as long as Mendy isn't confirmed playing by Pep, then I'm definitely going to want to play him again. I'm going to want to keep De Bruyne and Sterling and Salah. I'm going to want Barnes anyway. No need to wildcard. I might make a transfer though. I am considering making a transfer because I know I'm probably not... I need a plan basically for when I'm going to wildcard. Because if you think that a wildcard is around the corner, potentially, then you don't want to bank 2 transfers and then wildcard. It feels like a bit of a waste. So I'm considering doing Mount at Iwobi. We'll see. I might just stick it as is and then use 2 free transfers the week after to get rid of Van Dijk and bring in Iwobi for free and go to 3-5-2 and just keep Mount. But when I bought him in, I did say 2 fixtures, good fixtures, and then 2 okay-ish fixtures. Wolves away, Liverpool at home. They're not massively good, but I think Iwobi's looked good since for the few times he's played for Everton. Like what, 1.5 games, 1 and a bit games. He's only 5.9 million, and they got good fixtures too. So the thing I don't like about Mount right now is he's playing on the left. That is where he got his goal from for Norwich. But he's not playing that number 10 position because of injuries. Now that might be different next week or by the time the next game comes around. So we'll see. I might just keep him, use 2 free transfers to properly redo my team. Salah, I might change to Salah captain. I might change. But I'm not going to worry about that too much now because obviously we've got 2 weeks to go. Thoughts on the All-Ireland? I don't even know what the score was, to be honest. I'm sorry. Sorry, Irish people. Let me see what it was now. I mean, what? Dublin were going for 5 in a row, right? They drew. Oh, then they have to play again, don't they? Damn, okay. I might play Lundstram ahead of Pukki. I mean, I bench King versus Man City, so it's not really a knee-jerk. City are just going to swarm them, aren't they? Norwich are going to have no chance. I feel that. I know Laporte is missing. I don't think that's going to dent Man City a huge amount. So I might bench him, yeah. So I think Sheffield United are fairly good defensively, especially at home. And Southampton, they should have scored more against Man United, to be fair. Just final third, decision making, finishing was just poor. Can Vardy score at Old Trafford? I think anyone can. Norwich look good at home though, no Laporte. It is Man City though. I mean, Man City is a different level to everyone, even Liverpool. You know what I mean? So we'll see. You playing Lundstram over Zinchenko, you expect Pukki to score. Yeah, I mean, he might do, of course. He's had a good start to the season, but I feel like there's every chance Man City just absolutely dominate that, etc. Do you not worry about Zinchenko? I'm honestly not worried about him. What's there to worry about? He's starting week in, week out for Man City. We're going to keep clean sheets. There's just, when Mendy's back, we'll worry about it then. Best replacement for Laporte. Arguably it could just be Otamendi. If Laporte's going to be out a while, Otamendi or Stones are going to play every week. Have they even got another centre back? I feel like there's someone I'm missing. Let's have a look. No, they don't have another centre back apparently. Walker could play centre back, I guess, and they could play Cancelo right back, but I doubt that. They could play Fernandinho centre back, I suppose. It's going to be Otamendi and Stones, isn't it? So you could just stick to Man City and get one of them in. It depends if you need to do something with the money, you could drop down to a 4.5. I was kind of looking at wildcard teams earlier. Spurs have okay fixtures, but I'm not. I'd like Aurier, but he didn't play today. Now, Mangala. So he was a name. I didn't want to make myself look stupid, but I didn't know if they'd sold him or not. But he's not an FPL. But is that because he's just not played? Is he still a Man City player? Let's have a look. Yeah, he's playing for Valencia. There you go. I couldn't remember. Is Trent a captain option against Newcastle? You think clean sheet and 2 assists? Gambler's fallacy. Can Trent really keep up this level of assists? I guess he can. You kept asking me in the last stream if you should captain Vardy. You didn't. I didn't reply, so you didn't. Well, that's your own fault, really, isn't it? Make your decisions. If you want to captain him, captain him. Don't blame me. Should use a free hit to get Liverpool players in, but you only get them for that 1 week. So straight after that, you don't have them. No, not wildcarding. If I was wildcarding, I would get rid of Robertson for Trent Alexander-Arnold. I would only go with one Liverpool defender. I would switch to 3-5-2 or 3-4-3. The thing is, until Zinchenko misses out, I want to keep him. So it's another reason not to wildcard. So I'd probably go 3-4-3. Maybe look to try and get Haller in, but that's tricky with my current lineup. Maybe Mount could go to like a Aston Villa midfielder or something instead, McGinn or Trezeguet possibly. What does Aguero have to do to get into our teams? Become 8 million? It's just one of those things. It's hard. I don't want to get rid of Sterling. Okay, so I just, yes, he didn't score in the last game, but he's done well so far. So that's 12 million spent already. De Bruyne just seems too good value to turn down. So that means I'll have to go triple Man City. Which isn't the end of the world, I guess, because they score so many goals. But, to get Aguero in, realistically, I'm swapping out Sterling. So 2 free transfers to get rid of Sterling. It's 12 million. It's just not going to happen for me. If I was wildcarding, would I put him in? I probably wouldn't. To be honest. I was kind of talking about this on Twitter. The thing with the prices is good because it does make it harder to pick teams. Because you can't have everyone. So a lot of people that did well with Aguero, they might do, worse next week because they've not got Sterling, for example. But it also kind of makes it difficult, I think, to be different. So I was chatting to FPL Chancer on Twitter. It's like De Bruyne is like 9.7 now. So does anyone really want to punt on? Does anyone really want to punt on Pepe or Son when they can get De Bruyne for almost the same price? It just feels like too much of a risk for too little reward potentially. Apart from Son and Pepe both outscored De Bruyne. No, sorry, not De Bruyne, Sterling this week. you know, Salah, Liverpool got some tricky-ish fixtures coming up, but I suppose when you look at the Man United and Chelsea defences, I'm not so sure the fixtures are as bad as they look. And so I'm probably going to want to keep a Liverpool attacker. So how do I fit Aguero in? You know, and how many people that have Aguero have Sterling and De Bruyne as well? Probably not that many. Best replacement for Martial. If you've still got Martial, I'd probably just wait for now and see what the diagnosis is on him. Aguero is going to score a lot more than Sterling. Is he though? Is he? So Aguero's highest points return is 216 back in 2014-15. Sterling's last ones are 234 and 229. Yeah, you have to remember that Aguero might share minutes with Jesus more. I'm still not convinced by that massively. But all assists really total up. So last year, Aguero got 21 goals. Am I reading it right here? 21 goals, 11 assists, so 32 attacking returns, 201 points. Sterling got 17 goals, so less goals but more assists, and came out with 234. So Aguero penalties, sure. But Sterling scores goals too, so Sterling's going to play more minutes, you would think, this season. Like no one can convince me to get Aguero. Like, so I'm kind of. We can discuss it, of course, but I'm going to stick to, like, for my team, I'm going to stick to Sterling. Is there a good reason to get Aguero over Sterling? I'm not sure there is. I think it's a bit like Salah and Mane. Just pick one and stick with it. If you're confident that Aguero is going to do better, then get him. But Sterling scored 4 or 5 goals in the first 3 games. So we're not too bad. Lots of people asking me about the GAA. I didn't even know the score until I just Googled it. So I didn't watch it. Move money from defence. Look, we can do it now. It's impossible to get him. It's like there's not enough money in defence. Like, how do you get him? Even if you take out Pukki. Right, so you got to find 5.3 million from that team. Like, where do you even begin? I mean, I could go with no defence. Like, that might work, but like just taking money out of defence, just it ain't gonna happen. How can I show that better? Oh, that's rubbish. Doesn't fit on screen. There we go. So yeah, of course, on a wildcard I could do it, but I'd have to get rid of Sterling. Does Aguero being back impact Sterling? I mean, to be completely honest, I've not looked into it, but when I look at Sterling played like 2,700 minutes last year, Aguero played 2,500. They must have played quite a few minutes together. And if you remember, there was a lot of stats knocking about, because I think I had Aguero and Sterling a lot last year. I think a lot of us did. And I think I always went for Aguero captain. I can't remember which way around it was now. But there was a lot of stats basically saying that when they played together, one of them always outscored the other. And I think we were captaining Aguero, and Sterling was beating him when they played together. When they played in the same game, Sterling was on average beating him. But everyone kept captaining Aguero. I think I've got that right. So maybe this year will be different. Maybe everyone's happy to captain Sterling now. Actually, Aguero is the one to do. Kane's the same issue. Exactly the same. Like, with the prices being so high, you can only have a certain amount of premiums. Son did look good, but again, how do you fit him in? Sterling scored a lot of goals playing on the right, tapping in Sané's crosses. With Mahrez, his returns will reduce. Possibly. Mahrez is he's quite selfish. Aguero kept getting subbed off after 60 minutes last year. This season it's different. Yeah, that is a good point. How many 90-minute games has he had so far? 2. The last 2 he's played 90 minutes. Damn, 13 points in 16. I mean, that is pretty nice. Yeah, you could take out De Bruyne, of course. But then De Bruyne nearly matched him for 2.5 million less this week. So, over the course of the season, who knows? Anyway, I feel like we've talked about Aguero a lot. Do I want Vardy? Actually, not really. Not right now. Fixtures aren't great. I know he's good in bad fixtures, but Leicester fixtures aren't fantastic, and he is quite expensive. So I'm going to keep my money in Barnes and Co. And see how it goes. See how it goes from there. I mean, I get the Sané thing for Sterling, right? But this is also a guy that's already scored 5 goals this year. So he only needs 12 more out of the remaining 34 fixtures. So 1 goal nearly every 3 games. And he'll complete last year's total. I mean, that seems doable to me. How about Daniel James and Famau? Yeah, look, I jokingly said I implied that I was looking at that. I'm probably not, though, realistically. He hasn't had that many shots on target, I don't think. It was a nice finish, and he did get some bonus this time. But, again, Leicester at home, West Ham away, Arsenal at home, Newcastle away, Liverpool at home. Man United not really inspiring much confidence, to be honest, in the way they're playing. I'm probably not going to do Mount to James at this point. But he's getting quite a few shots off, which is nice. And to be fair to him, he did play some really nice crosses across the box as well. Or into the box, sorry. There's just no one on the end of. And the thing is, you can say next time there might be someone on the end, but who's that going to be? Like, who's that going to be? Lukaku? Don't think so. Would I let Sanchez go? I mean, you have to say no, but you don't know what the other circumstances are. Maybe Ollie just thought there's no chance that he was going to turn it around. Man, Southampton drop points to Man United. Yeah, fair enough. Is it just you, or can you not get going this year every week? Bar week 1, you're under the average. But just like, there's only 4 game weeks. You could quite easily be having a bad patch now and not having a bad patch later in the season. Also, there's so many more people playing the game this year again, and that's going to keep rising at least for a while. It happens, right? It happens. You turn it around. Just keep going. Consistency. Just staying the course of FPL is always a way to get up the ranks, because obviously so many people will drop out. So just stick around, keep going, you'll be fine. You transferred out Trent Alexander-Arnold instead of Robertson to free up money for Trent Alexander-Arnold. That doesn't make sense. There is a lack of good midfielders. I mean, there really isn't. Is there? Salah, Mane, Sterling, De Bruyne, like big top. Arsenal got good fixtures coming up. Pepe might be good. Son. I mean, there's a lot of expensive midfielders. I don't know if there's a lack of good ones, though. Which 2 of these 3 strikers should you take? Abraham, Barnes and Pukki. Yeah, I think it's got to be Barnes and Pukki still. But if you throw Haller in there, Barnes and Haller, maybe, instead of Pukki. Not that I think everyone should run out and get rid of Pukki straight away. Lack of good cheap mids. But is there, though? I mean, you should only have, a certain expectation for a cheap midfielder. Richarlison, 7.9, just scored 2 goals. Maybe this is the turning point for Everton actually scoring goals. Mount and James are doing okay. You got Cantwell, who missed the sitter, who's cheap. Aston Villa midfielders could possibly come in. We'll have to wait and see. Ceballos looked okay against Spurs, but again, bit of a worry there because he might not play every game. He definitely won't play every game. Got Robinson, Sheffield United, although he's not played 60 minutes the previous 2 games, but maybe that's his confidence risen this week. I don't know. Again, we're still only 4 weeks in. I think there's a good few options. You don't need that many midfielders. Yeah, Hotter at Villa, Trezeguet at Villa as well. So far ahead of you, you're on 229. It's only 27 points. It's nothing. Absolutely nothing. That's a captaincy pick that you get right. Forget about De Bruyne and the price point. What do you think about Pepe? I tweeted about this earlier. He's one of those players you want to own because you want to watch him and you want to see him do well. We talked about him trying too hard last week against Liverpool. I don't think he necessarily had that problem against Spurs, but I think he needs a goal soon. I think that will settle him and just kind of be the catalyst to just keep on going. But he did get his assist today. And he's gonna terrorize defenders. So I really enjoyed watching him today. I think he was good. I think he's already fit in that Arsenal team pretty well. Should start most games, but again, we just don't know with Emery how he's gonna change things going on or going forward. But I like him. It's just, you can say forget about De Bruyne, but can you really just forget about De Bruyne? Is Pepe going to keep up with De Bruyne? I mean, that's, you're basically a gambler if you want to go for that. And if you do, go for it. Yes, he does. He seems to take all set pieces, actually. Free kicks and corners. So he's not going to be on penalties. But yeah, he was on a lot of set pieces, which is nice. Would Laporte's injury mean De Bruyne plays more deep? I don't think so. I don't see why. I mean, Stones and Otamendi would be fine, right? Otamendi kind of had his place, well, because Stones was out. They're not maybe as good as Laporte, but I don't think they're that far off. I don't think they need to be that good in that Man City team. So I think they'll be fine. Stones comes in, he's good on the ball. I think they can still control it without Laporte. I don't see a change of position too much from De Bruyne. Am I happy with my team's formation? I think I'm happy enough for this week. Going forward, we might mix it up a bit. Vishnav, thanks very much. James McGinn or Trossard. I think Trossard is probably the best out of all of those, but the fixtures are not good. So I quite like McGinn's fixtures. I mean, Daniel James, like I said, hasn't been that creative, but has been banging in the shots. But Man United, I don't know, it's hard to say not to go for him when he scored 3 goals, but at the same time, Man United just not really looked in it. So I think probably McGinn, to be honest. By the way, got a glass this time because I did see there was complaints about the noise from the bottle, so apologies. Owen, you're the guy that scored the banger. That was a nice shot. Fair play to you. Was the whole game on camera? Or they just get lucky filming you at that one part? Aguero that was loud. Aguero and De Bruyne in the long run. I mean, I'm still going De Bruyne for now. I just think price and points. Like, look at him. He's what? 36 points already. So Aguero is slightly ahead of him, and obviously De Bruyne has played every game. But it's nice to have someone at that price just ticking over constantly. He will blank at some point, of course, but he's got another few big scores in him. So I think because of the price, De Bruyne for now. Wilson going under the radar. If Wilson keeps up this 5 points per game, he'll finish on 190. Although it would annoy me a bit paying 1.5 million more than last year, but last year his points per game were like 5.6 or 5.7. So only 5 this year. Not good enough. Is Trent a must-have? Yeah. I think, well, must-have in that if you're a wildcard, and I think he should probably be one of the first names on the team sheet. He's just so good. Creating so many chances. That right foot is a joy to watch. Rashford or Pukki? Yeah, I mean, Rashford was awful against Southampton. It does worry me a bit, to be honest. So, Rashford or Pukki? I think I'd probably just save the money and go for Pukki for now. Should you keep Rashford? I mean, if you've got him, there's probably not a massive reason to get rid of him unless you need the money. I mean, Haller, for example, is probably a better bet right now. But, I don't know, Rashford's going to get chances. He's going to get chances. Most of the time that he was poor was actually trying to play the ball instead of making runs in behind. So they didn't get in the right service. The thing is, they need someone to attack them. They want to play on a counter. And that's probably not going to happen that often. Although, once teams realise how bad they are defensively, they might attack a bit more. Oh, here he is. Suj, the FPL expert, absolutely nailed it on FPL FYI. You shouldn't be in this stream. This isn't upper class enough now. Yeah, Haller, I mean, I would like him. I can't get him. I cannot get him. I can get him if I get rid of Robertson, but it means I'd have to keep Van Dijk and no Trent. So without a wild card, it's not happening. Wild card though, I might go for it. We shall see. But yeah, I think for 7.5. I mean, everyone was saying 7.5 was too expensive. Obviously, it's not. Digne for Wan-Bissaka. I mean, Digne is going to get more points for sure. Haller or Vardy. I think I'd probably get Haller and save the money. Sunday barbecue. No barbecue here. Salah or Mane or wildcard. I mean, I think I would always go. I've already forgotten the question I was chatting about now. Or Salah or Mane. I will always look to put Salah in, I think, my wild card. But if I had the perfect team, and the only way to make it was to do Salah to Mane, I'd probably do it. I think Liverpool upcoming fixtures are actually quite tough, and captaincy wise, it's probably going to be on a Man City player more often than not. So you might not be as hurt as much. But I think I would always prefer to have Salah. On penalties is always going to help. I mean, there's probably not too much to. There's really not a lot between them. Like it's no one can say Mane and be wrong. No one can say Salah and be wrong. I think you just pick one. If it fits your budget and you want to go for Salah, do it. If you need to save a bit of money, go for Mane. Like I said last week, Salah scored 2, Mane got nothing. Then this week, Mane scores, and Salah only gets an assist. Next week, it'll be flipped again against Newcastle. Are you mad for benching Pukki and playing Lundstram? So I am probably going to do that. I'm probably going to play Lundstram, I think. One of the reasons I've not put it now is because I'll constantly get asked about it and be told I'm wrong. I don't want to spend the whole stream talking about it, but I'm probably going to play Lundstram. I think, could Pukki score against Man City? Absolutely. Is there a very good chance that Man City get a clean sheet? Absolutely. I think Lundstram's got an opportunity to get a clean sheet against Southampton. He is fairly attacking. I saw Sheffield United against Chelsea. I mean, do you know what I mean? He's not like a Sterling or a De Bruyne, of course, but I saw him pop up in the box a good few times. So that was nice to see. So potential for attacking returns and a clean sheet versus Pukki, who... I mean, is Pukki going to score more than one against Man City? It seems unlikely, right? So I think it's potentially worth the risk. Most people are going to play him. So I might just... it's almost a differential not to play him. And maybe that's a bad thing. You could punish you, but if he scores twice or more against Man City, then I'll consider myself a bit unlucky. Hardly anyone scores two or more times against Man City. I mean, obviously, if Norwich were away, it'd be a much easier choice. I know Laporte's injured, right? Don't get me wrong; he is their best centre back, but it's Man City. Do you know what I mean? They're going to be okay without Laporte. Just like how they smashed the league last year without De Bruyne. I know, one thing I will say is, probably the centre-back replacements are probably the weakest part of the team. Like when they lose a midfielder, they got replacements. When they lose Aguero, they got Jesus. Yeah, fair enough. Otamendi or Stones in for Laporte is probably not ideal, but it doesn't suddenly make them an awful team, surely. I don't think so anyway. So yeah, I'm probably going to play Lundstram. That's a long answer to say yes. Maybe Pukki will score. And the thing is, one thing I will think about is if Pukki does score, That's obviously 4 points or 6 points for him that I'm missing out on. And he's going to stop my Zinchenko clean sheet as well. So it's like a double hammer blow. And obviously if Lundstrom doesn't get anything, that's a triple hurt. So we'll see. Would you consider podcasting audio as your streams? I could say that I've considered it many times. So I will continue to consider it and probably not do it. Maybe I'm wrong because people have asked me for it a lot of times, but I don't think it would be good as a podcast. It's too unstructured. Basically, I don't think it would come across well as a podcast. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys can tell me different. I just think the other videos are probably better. They're actually structured and, are edited properly. Whereas this can turn into, like last stream we were chatting about the gym and stuff, and I don't want to then spend time having to edit it. Basically, I just don't have the time for it. It's not that I don't want to, so I just don't have the time. And there's so many other good podcasts out there. Play cheap Liverpool midfielders. I mean, Liverpool are one of those teams. You go for their defenders, you go for their attackers, you skip the midfielders and never think about them, basically. How many blanks before I consider selling a player? I mean, once you get to like 3 blanks in a row, I think that's a good time to start thinking about it. But it depends. Like, without trying to sit on the fence too much, it really does depend because, I don't know. Let's say Zinchenko blanks 3 games in a row, but I'm looking at the stats and Man City have got unlucky to concede. They've got the best defensive stats, but they've conceded 1 goal in 3 different games. And then suddenly, I don't know, someone else is injured, then you kind of put it to the back. If you're spending 12 million on Salah, 12.5 million, he blanks 3 games in a row, you're not really shooting as much, his stats have gone down, Liverpool aren't doing as well, then yeah, you'd probably start prioritising that to get someone better in. But it kind of depends. But I suppose 3 games. 2's probably not enough. 3's probably just about okay. Why do I prefer Iwobi to Mount? I mean, I don't know if I 100% do, to be honest. The thing I like about Iwobi is it's a bit cheaper. So if I was wildcarding, that would definitely come into play. And also Everton's fixtures. So I got Mount in. So I was considering Mount and Trossard at the time. I got Mount in because I thought there's a chance that I'm going to wildcard soon. And his next 2 fixtures are better. So he's had those 2 fixtures now. Then it's Wolves away and Liverpool at home. So I'm not expecting... I could almost mentally prepare for 2 blanks from Mount for the next 2 games. I know Wolves conceded 3 goals today, which is obviously not great. And they are probably struggling a bit with Europa League. I'm not sure Chelsea are going to go and smash them away, though. And then it's Liverpool at home, so I wouldn't expect much in that game either. And then Iwobi's got Bournemouth away and Sheffield United at home, so I think that is better. And again, so with my team as it is, until Mendy comes back, so this is, rather than just necessarily Mount versus Iwobi, this does come down to the way my team's set up. I don't need to swap any of the Liverpool players, or the Man City players, and Barnes and Pukki are probably okay for a few more weeks. So I'm really playing transfers with just a couple of spots. The goalkeeper, who's not going to change, and then Mount. So I almost have the free transfer to do Mount to Iwobi, play the fixtures, and then see what I'm looking at in 2 weeks' time. And if Mount is still looking good, then I can swap him back in. The only issue is I've already made some money on Mount. That's maybe a good reason to keep him. And obviously it is good to have transfers in hand. I don't necessarily want to force myself into a wild card either. And 2 Liverpool defenders. Probably not going to want that after this week. So again, 2 free transfers would let me redistribute some of that money. Maybe I could have Iwobi as well as Mount. So I probably won't make the swap for that reason. But I just think Everton have too good a team to keep being so poor in attack. Sigurdsson looks so much better today. I don't know why. He just wasn't at the races last week. Just nothing seemed to be going for him. Sigurdsson today almost looked like a player playing for his place. Even though I don't think there's any There's no doubt that he's going to be in the team week in, week out. But he looked like a player that I don't know, was trying to prove something today. Richarlison was excellent. I think Keane is obviously still raw and really young, and I don't know if we should expect too much from him too soon. But he looks hungry. He really probably needs a goal sooner rather than later, because that will play on his mind otherwise. And Iwobi, whether he's an improvement on Bernard, I don't know. But coming in and getting a goal on your debut is pretty decent. I think he looked good when he made the substitution appearance as well. So I just think this is probably the catalyst where Everton are going to score a few goals now. And they've got good fixtures for a little while. They've got Man City at home in Game Week 7, not ideal. But outside of that, they're pretty good. You know yourself. So yeah, I'm really interested in Iwobi. It's the cheapest way into the attack as well. And you'd hope he wouldn't be left too far behind from the likes of Richarlison. But Richarlison's now got his 2 goals. Obviously not scored since then. But he, like I said, in the opening half of the last 2 seasons, he's got 10, 11 goals. So maybe this is the spark for him to go absolutely nuts as well. I like Keane, though. He's got a bit of flair about him. He wants to do tricks. I think he held the ball up pretty well. I actually think... And again, this is probably where eye test and stats combined are good. I think Keane got into some good positions today. He just wasn't found by the players behind. So you won't see that as shots in the box. You won't see that as kind of chances being created from him. But I think he got into some pretty good positions and they just didn't find him. So I do think a goal will help, though. You know, he's young. He's now leading the line for a team that are probably trying to break into the top 6. The pressure will build quick. But he's definitely going to be better than Calvert. I think Calvert-Lewin, I don't know if this is being harsh. I'm not even sure Calvert-Lewin is Premier League material, let alone, top half material. So I think Keane was going to get plenty of chances. Abraham could have definitely had another goal or assist. Yeah, I mean, there was a great save from Henderson. It's having Keane and Keane for Everton 2 Keane. It definitely is, because Keane, not good. Keane's good, but not Keane. I think Son looked really good. I think playing Arsenal helped because he was kind of able to make those runs beyond Kane. So yeah, I mean, the thing about Son is he's greedy, and that obviously helps when it comes to FPL. Not when you've got 2 players like Mane and Salah who both want to be greedy and getting annoyed. But yeah, Son. Yeah, I think Son looks good, but it's just that price tag. Once I don't know when the transfer window finishes for like La Liga and stuff, but once we know that Eriksen's going to stay, I think we're looking good. Or I think Spurs will look better. He looked really happy when he scored that goal, like a man that really wanted to be there. But at the same time, it was the derby against Arsenal, so I suppose most Spurs and Arsenal players will be able to get up for that, or be up for that as a match. Yeah, you play. Finishes tomorrow. There you go. Then, I mean, it seems unlikely. I mean, that's a big sale, right? It seems unlikely that they're going to sell him now. Spurs, by the way, have actually got a pretty, especially in attack, have got a pretty insane squad depth now. Maybe not insane. I mean, it's not quite Man City, but it's a hell of a lot better than it has been. That's really going to help them as the season goes, because they'll be able to keep players fresher. Should we worry about price changes? I would try and not worry about price changes. Like the one time, like if you're absolutely sure you want that player and you're not just getting them because they're changing price, but you want to save a bit of money, or you need to save, or you need to make the move because otherwise you're going to be priced out, then maybe go for it. But doing it right now, just remember, one, like price changes don't happen that often over international break. They've slowed right down the last few seasons. And 2, you have got 2 weeks to go. A lot of players are going to be involved in international fixtures, so that could affect the players you're taking out, bringing in, or just the other players in your squad. If someone from my team who I'm not even thinking about taking out gets injured on international duty, then suddenly they become the priority to remove. If you're on Wildcard, you should absolutely try and make money, but don't expect to make too much, I would say. Matip, great value for money. He is. You'd imagine Gomez is going to get some kind of time at some point, though. But then he's the reason I didn't go for Trent Alexander-Arnold, and look how that's happened. But yeah, that's probably actually something I've not considered. When I want to drop Van Dijk, I could just go to Matip, but I think Liverpool's fixtures will put me off enough that I'll just go for one. I think it feels like you almost need one Liverpool defender just for like a shield, basically, against everyone else that's got one. I was kind of looking at wildcard teams today, and defenders, it's tough. Like, it really is. One Liverpool defender, Lucas Digne. Who else? You keep a Man City defender, I guess, because you're going to be able to get either Zinchenko or Otamendi cheap. So you could stick to City and then just have those three. Outside of that, I think Spurs have got good fixtures. I was looking at Aurier, but he didn't start today. I don't know whether he's fully fit, and maybe that's the problem. I can't see them playing Davinson Sanchez too many times at right back. I think in the end he coped okay, but yeah, he was not enjoying that. He was not enjoying it. Bolly did get a red card, second yellow. I mean, that was the most stupid second yellow as well. Just no need to do it. How long is Laporte out for? I don't know, actually. I think he's down as unknown. I don't think we've been told. Could be wrong. Yeah, it just says knee injury, 25% chance of playing. I think we're waiting on scans and stuff. You think Liverpool defender, Digne, and Man City defender? Yeah, that's probably it. That is probably it. I don't think I would go Matip, because I just don't want double Liverpool defence too much longer. Morris looked bright. He's going to play a lot more. He is, but he's also going to get rotated, which is frustrating. Vertonghen at 5.3. Yeah, could be okay. But again, you only pay a little bit more when you get a Man City defender. Am I thinking of benching Zinchenko for Lundstram? I'm actually thinking of benching Pukki for Lundstram. I'm going to play Zinchenko, I think. Emerson should be there if you're wildcard. I mean, no, not for me. I have, like the Man United defence, there's almost no faith in the Chelsea defence. They just cannot keep clean sheets right now. Again, when Rudiger and Kante are both back in that side, then it does change things. But let's see how much it changes things first. Play Greenwood. No chance. He's not going to start. He might start, but let's wait and see. Bring in Guendouzi. You don't think you're going to see many... I don't think you're going to see many attacking returns from Guendouzi, even though that was a great ball today for Aubameyang. Pukki to Barnes. If you've got Pukki, I don't know if there's a massive need to get rid of him. I mean, I think it's a interesting and ballsy call. But, I mean, there's a chance Pukki scores. There's a chance he carries on scoring after that. There's probably not a need just yet to get rid of him. And Storm, I've just literally answered that question. I mean, Barnes does have better fixtures, so you could go for that. You could go for the risk. But it is a massive risk. He's owned by 40%. You shouldn't really worry about ownership, I know, but if he does score against City and you've sold him, Barnes blanks, that's really going to hurt. Because most people will play him. But thanks for that, Storm. After this City game, he's going to have 3 amazing fixtures. I mean, yeah, I guess you can look at the fixtures in a few different ways. I mean, Villa at home, yeah, sure, I like that. Burnley away and Crystal... I mean... I'm going to have Nick Pope playing in Gameweek 6. I'll be confident enough for a clean sheet, I think. You know, maybe not enough to bet some money on it, but you know, could I see Pope get a clean sheet against Norwich at home? Sure. And then he's got Crystal Palace away. Palace is not a defence that you necessarily want to play when you're looking for goals. So I don't know. I mean, I'm probably going to keep him. I'm not trying to put people off him. I don't think the next 3 fixtures are as good as they necessarily look on paper. I've got to stop tapping my leg. It's knocking the wire. Do I think Manning instead of De Bruyne is a big mistake? Not a big mistake, no. Obviously costs more money, which is what hurts. Can't decide on dropping King on a... Yeah, I mean, Josh King's got penalties, but right now it doesn't look like he's got much else. When I play Soyuncu or Diop in Gameweek 5. I mean, Leicester have got... They're away, aren't they? Yeah, I mean, Leicester are away to Man United. And West Ham... Why can't I see them? Oh, they're away to Villa. I mean, I feel like that's an easy decision. It was Guendouzi's first attacking return. Yeah, I mean, but it was really good, though. Otamendi or Zinchenko, the best Man City defender to get. I mean, if you're getting one right now, I think it has to be Otamendi, doesn't it? I mean, we could be talking about Zinchenko potentially losing his place for weeks yet. You just don't know with Mendy when he's going to be back. And when he's back, how long will he keep his place? Will he get injured again? Will he get injured in training before he even makes a first 11 appearance? I don't know, but like, if I was Wildcard, I know I would go for Otamendi instead. Is now the time to get rid of Sterling for Aguero? I mean, the question I would ask is, why are you getting rid of Sterling? What makes you think that Sterling's not a good option? If you've got a good answer for that, then you should absolutely swap him out. You bought Pukki when his train stopped. Fake news. I bought him the week before. 11 points. Happy days. Pep loves Zinchenko. Mendy will never take his place. I'm not sure I agree with that. Zinchenko is the new Diego Costa. Yeah, that's what I said last week or last stream. Is Aguero a must-have? I don't think any players are a must-haves, to be honest. Maybe Trent in defence. I feel like so many teams are so similar right now. Yeah, it's probably not... Percentage-wise, it's probably not any worse than normal, but there's a lot of more people playing, so you're going to see a lot more of the same players. Because realistically, there's only a certain pool of players. I think pricing is difficult. I do think they got a lot of prices right, but I don't think it's left enough room to have a punt. You know, if Pepe was 8.5 million, for example, bearing in mind, yes, he had good attacking returns last year in Ligue 1. If he was 8.5, people wildcarding this week with Arsenal's fixtures, would you take a punt over De Bruyne and save 1 million? You might do, but when they're the same price, why would you? So it's tricky, because if they price him 8.5 and he absolutely comes and smash it like he did last year, then suddenly he almost becomes must-have. But I think they could have done something with Pepe. I really do. And Son, I think he could have been a bit cheaper. I mean, I guess Son was priced 0.5 million more than Eriksen, because if you price them the same, you just buy Son most of the time. But I mean, Eriksen's down to like 8.8 million now. And if he stays, he's going to be consistent again. I think it's the same for. It's exactly the same for premium strikers. You know, they price Kane and Aubameyang at 11 million, so they are cheaper than Mane, Salah, and Sterling. But given how good Salah and Sterling is, it's going to take more than that for most managers to jump off. Although I guess you could argue not, because Kane was so highly owned. But then, can they really price the likes of Aubameyang and Kane at like only 10 or only 9.5? They can't really, because then they're almost like straight in. I think naturally as time goes on, more people join the game, then more people will be checking Twitter and YouTube and copying teams. Yeah, I mean, this is a tough one, like for all people that do content for FPL. Like the views on videos show that people watch. Maybe they don't like it. Maybe they feel they need to watch it. But people watch team videos way more than any other video, and that's not just for my channel. That's for every channel. So that kind of shows you one reason why some people are tuning in. But like, then how do you stop that? You just stop doing those videos, but a lot of people like watching them. So if you're a content producer and you are doing videos, and the one video you do gets the most views, why would you not keep doing it? And you say, well, you shouldn't do it. Well, if I stop doing it, someone else will do it. So why would I not just do it myself? Do you know what I mean? So it is a tough one. I kind of get why some people get frustrated with it, but I don't know. It is what it is, I suppose. And at the end of the day, copying someone's team, like, whatever. It must be pretty boring for you if you just copy a team. And you ain't going to win it if you do that. Maybe some people don't care about winning it. Maybe they just want to win mini leagues and stuff. Here's a question. Is there an argument next year to make Salah and Sterling 14 so you can only get one? Or make them both forwards so point ceiling isn't high? Yeah, I mean, there's a few things FPL could do. I mean, Sky, I think, price... They don't have this 0.5 million, increments. It doesn't have to be on the dot or 0.5. So, yeah, they could, come in at 8.8, 9.1... or not necessarily for Salah and Sterling, but for any player. They could do that. That might help a bit. I think 14 million just feels too high. The thing is, like, pricing is difficult. As much as people always moan about the prices and stuff. It is difficult because you price someone too high and suddenly they're not an option. So if you price Salah and Sterling at 14 million, that would really put people off. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe those that take the risk and get the points will be rewarded. But you don't want to put people off too much, but you don't want to make it too easy to bring them in where they're must-have. So I think why Salah was dropped from 13 million, I have no idea. Like, seriously, I do not. I think 14 million feels a bit high. Danny So Sick, thanks very much. Laporte and Perez looking like they need to go for me. Any early thoughts on replacement? I suppose it depends how much money you've got. You could just drop Laporte down to someone like Otamendi if you wanted to stick to Man City. Then you'd have like 7 million plus for Perez. So you got the obvious options like Mount, McGinn, and I quite like Iwobi. I would look at Iwobi. If you've got enough money, you could also look at Richarlison if you think he's going to keep up that form. Could be an option. So I missed a load of comments then as well. Saw one I wanted to read and now I've lost it. Josh King, I think you could get rid of Josh King at this point. I mean, I need to remind myself of Bournemouth's fixtures because I've not really looked at them. Everton at home could be okay. Southampton away, West Ham at home. They're not awful fixtures. But he's just not performing against the likes of Barnes, Pukki, Haller. So it depends how much money you got, I suppose. People are influenced by others easily. That's human nature. Yeah, again, like, how do you change it? That's the thing. I mean, you can't change human nature, I suppose. That's what the clue is in the name. I don't think, I mean, realistically, percentage-wise, most people are not copying the team. Not pick for pick, right? And this year, maybe it's been a bit easier so far because I've done early transfers. That won't keep happening. So as much as I'll talk about my picks in the team selection, doesn't necessarily mean that's what I'll do by the end of the week. Because a lot of times last year, I made my transfer and didn't tweet about it. Yeah, exactly. Realistically, not that many will copy. Will I do a wildcard draft video? I might just do it, yeah. Cable leg just saying, sorry. I can't move the cable, so I need to stop the leg. Right, we're going to do the polls in just a minute, guys. So if you haven't, in a minute. So if you haven't already, click the little eye in the top right-hand corner, and then vote on the polls. And like the stream while you're at it, and subscribe if you're new around here. We are pushing for more subscribers, basically. Went down 700,000 places this week. Just remember, points are still super close. That's why the drop in ranks is so high. There are polls. There's 5 of them. What do I think of bringing in Firmino instead of Pukki? I was thinking this. Right, Firmino's actually doing pretty well. He's kind of probably going under the radar a bit. And not only that, when you watch him in the games, it feels like he's playing further forward. He's not dropping back as much. Now, you could go and check heat maps and stuff. I might just be talking rubbish, but from watching the games, it looks like he's playing a little bit further forward, and maybe not having to do as much defensive work yet. So that could be a nice way to get double Liverpool attack without having to get Salah and Mane. A bit cheaper. So ahead of Pukki, I mean, sure, if you've got the money, obviously Pukki not only gives you another player in form, but also gives you a bit more money to spend. So it depends on what you want to do with that and how your team's structured. So yeah, I think getting Firmino is a decent shout, especially if you've got a wild card. The template conversation, like I'm telling you now, I've been playing for like 9 or 10 years. Even 9 or 10 years ago, when there was only like 3 or 4 million players, template was always talked about. That will not go away. Realistically, we only have a certain amount of players to choose from. All the central defensive midfielders, they're gone. All the players that don't play week in, week out, they're not options. Everybody, you don't have to be an FPL fan or hardcore player to know that Liverpool and Man City are pretty good. So you're going to buy their players. Then you're going to start buying the players that do well. I mean, we all do that. So there's always going to be a template. And that will not change. And I don't think there is a way to change that, really. Unless you start mixing up the prices a bit more. Mount is not good enough for fourth mid. Maybe not. We'll see. I think it's done okay so far. If he moves more central again, that would be good. I should have an option of hell no. Okay, let's do the polls. Let's do the polls. Damn, I could hear the clicking again. Okay. Let's have a look here. So, is Pukki essential? 53% saying no. I'd say if I did that last week, it would have been much higher for yes. 47% saying he's still essential. Are you wildcarding in Game Week 5? 45% saying no, 21% saying yes, and 33% of everyone that voted has already used it. So a lot of people popped it in the first 4 weeks. Is Robertson to Trent worth a free transfer? Wow, 45% say yes. I'm surprised it's that high. Fair enough on wildcard, not sure about a free transfer. And 55% saying no. Is Triple Man City attack viable? Yes, there's 62%. So a lot of people liking De Bruyne, Sterling, Aguero. Be interested to see how many of those people will do that on wildcard. And then, do you enjoy the international break? 85% of you say no, only 15% saying yes. I like it. I like the little break. Maybe it's because I do content. But I'm going to keep up the content anyway, but I still enjoy it. You get to do something a bit different. At this point in the last 2 or 3 years, it was much more set template. I mean, the thing is as well, in any year where a new striker to the league who's 6.5 million scores a hat-trick and scores 5 goals in the first 3 games, they're going to become template. There's a lot of people that didn't want him that felt they had to get him because, he was so highly owned, he was doing so well. What will make, like, not necessarily make or break your season, but that could improve it, is getting the time and right to get rid of him. Is now the right time to get rid of Pukki? Maybe he's had his good spell. He's got a home game against City, 2 tough enough away games. Is that the time to break the template? That's the hard thing in FPL. But yeah, if a player scores like that, what can you do? They're always going to become template. Okay, let me see if there's any things we haven't gone over. Am I going to do live streams during the break? I'm going to do one on the Thursday before the next game week. Is it a Friday game week? I hope not. Friday deadline. It is not. Oh, Liverpool versus Newcastle. Definitely do a deadline stream for that. But yeah, probably won't do another stream till a week Thursday, but I'll have shorter videos coming out. I don't think multiple streams in an international break is worthwhile because you just repeat the same stuff. Barnes will be templating amongst that. He might be, but he's only you know, he's not a massive differential, but he's only owned by 10.5%. So yeah, if you bring him in now, he does well for the next 2. Job done. How about the Patreon League? Yeah, good point actually. Good segue now. Let's bring it up. Oh, because that's finished, of course. My bad. So here's the Patreon League for August. I don't know if this is updated yet. Oh, Matthew, is this what you were asking? Bam, Matthew Higgins, 63 points. He has won the August Patreon League, so I have to get you a t-shirt sorted and the cash sent over. De Bruyne Sterling captain. Look at that, see? Double Liverpool attack. Firmino with a 12-pointer. Callum Wilson. So congratulations to Matthew. If anyone wants to sign up for Patreon, link is in the description below. There's a monthly league, as Matthew's pointed out, where you can win prizes, etc. And there's also a Slack channel as well if you want to get involved in the conversation. I should just say, we didn't set this up, by the way. Matthew just helped me out there. All the producers are on screen, so thanks very much to all of them for signing up. Much appreciated. And there are 3 new patrons this week. So Chris H, Jeff W, and Sam G. Thanks very much for signing up. Slack invites have all been sent out. And so yeah, if anyone else signs up now, I think if you sign up today, you might still be okay for the September League. But either way, you'll get the Slack code straight away. So if you want to check it out, links in the description below. Thanks to everyone that supported so far. It's much appreciated. And nice one, Matthew. I'll wait until that definitely settles and all the scores are updated. But yeah, I'll sort that out for you over the international break. No problemo. Thoughts on Hudson-Odoi come back? I think it will help. I think he'll be an interesting option potentially, but I think it will help Mount as well, because Mount should be able to go back to the number 10 spot, because right now he's kind of playing on the left. You don't have to be sorry, Matthew. I was only messing. There's a free hit used the weekly transfer. Yeah, basically. You only have one the week after a free hit. And obviously you don't get to keep your free hit either. You don't get to keep your team for the next game week. How many points have we got in total? It's on screen. Just at the top. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it there. I think most of the questions now are going to be repeated. And obviously, there's a lot of stuff to wait for over the international break, potential injuries and stuff like that. Injury news as well for the likes of Laporte, how long he's going to be out for. So I'll leave the stream there. If you haven't already, make sure to give it a like, subscribe if you're new around here. There's more videos going to be. I'm basically going to try and do a video every other day up until next week, and when you'll get the usual points prediction, team selection, and stuff like that. Next stream probably won't be till a week on Thursday though. So just an FYI for you. Otherwise, enjoy the break. Take a break. Don't stress over FPL too much. If you're wildcarding, good luck. Does give you a bit of extra time to get it right. Also gives you a bit of extra time to stress about it as well. So there's kind of pros and cons to that. If you haven't checked out fantasyfootballscout.co.uk, the sponsor of this stream, links in the description below. Members area is fantastic. I'd highly recommend it, especially if you're into stats and stuff like that. They've also got loads of good like articles and things like that too. And if you want to sign up to Patreon and support the stream a little bit more, link is in the description below, and I'll get Slack invites and stuff sent out as soon as possible. Otherwise, I'll leave it there. Thanks very much for tuning in. Like the stream, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll catch you next time. Cheers.